the second stream. We didn't do a whole intro thing again. You can splice it in your own mind.
Head,
So,
right? You can do a little splice. So what happened? Technical difficulties. It
yep,
happens
the
even.
stream just said, we don't like where you're going with this. We're going to just stop this. You guys can reset and think a little more carefully about your words.
But are they consuming us in the same place they would have before? When you
Well,
said the second,
it's still in the same places, but it's not like the
we're using a different
broadcast
apparatus.
retook over right now. But it did send out the same announcement again. It would take some time. It'd take a miracle for anybody to find us, but
Well, what's that from?
it'd take a
No,
miracle.
see, I can't believe it. Now, every now and then that happens to me. It's like scrambled. Men like scrambled, and that one just literally scrambled my brain. And now I can't place this one. And then you do that eyeball thing where you don't know this. What is it? What is it? What's the line you just said? I can't even remember it now. It would take a miracle.
It'd take a miracle.
Yeah, I'm not placing it. That's going to drive me nuts. I mean, I could punch it up in Google in 10 seconds, but it's a lot more fun to watch you just and with that look, the Bob look. I can't believe you. It would take a miracle.
I
It's
need
gonna.
to tell you, okay?
Yeah, hey, go ahead. Now I'm gonna do that. Oh, of course, you know that bit.
It's freaking Princess Bride, Miracle Max.
Oh, oh yes, it would take a miracle. Have fun
It'd
storming
take a
the
miracle.
castle.
Have fun storming the castle. You think it'd take a miracle?
Yeah, two blades.
Wow, 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 wow. That I cannot. That you did
You know,
not get that
I can do
is.
most of the soliloquy too. I can.
I know. That's why.
Right.
That's why
You
I
are,
couldn't
you
believe
are
it.
the brute squad. You know that all.
My wide eyes were legit, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, they were. It was worthy. So here's a story for you. Speaking of moving, and you said shouldn't 42-year-olds be doing that? You know, okay. Wednesday, sitting here at the house, getting ready it's the twilight of the day, right? I'm gonna maybe watch a little end of a movie, whatever. The point is, the internet went out. All my outside
Oh
world
boy.
data. Yeah. So you go, oh crap. But whatever. So I say to myself, I've got all these movies that Steven got me a while back. I'll go up to the office up here and I'll just watch. I was watching one of the Ridley Scott Alien movies. I happen to have it. I'm just watching. It was fun. It was not, and I'm watching this movie, going, "This is kind of nice." I wouldn't have thought to watch. And then the power went out, and
Oh boy.
the power went out around 10:15, somewhere around there. And it was a light rain. It wasn't like the thunder and the cracks, the lightning and everything that normally you associate with losing power. So the point, okay, go get the flashlights, light the candles, and I go, what? It's already 10:15, going on 10:30. You're going to walk around in candlelight for a half hour and then go, just
Right,
go
you're
to
gonna
bed.
walk around in candlelight for.
Right. So I went and brushed my teeth and then I got in bed and it's so unbelievably quiet, right? No ceiling fans, the outside lights,
Oh
the street
yeah.
lights. It is, all you hear is that little misty rain. And so it's kind of creepy actually for me a little bit because it's so dead quiet. And then it dawns on me, sump pump. I don't know if we've ever talked about that, but I have that deep well in the basement. There's a sump pump.
It's come up a couple of times, I think, on the
Okay. So when it rains, the deep well fills, the sump pump kicks on and pushes the water outside. But when there's no power, there's no sump pump. So the deep well just fills and eventually will start to flood my basement. So I have a little alarm on there, Bob, and I decided to just lie in bed and, I'm not off. If you hear the alarm, that means the water has risen to a point where it's ready to start oozing out all over the basement floor. And sure enough, around 1:30 in the morning, I hear the alarm. I get up and I get dressed. I have one flashlight in the basement and one in the garage. And now I begin 5-gallon Home Depot buckets at a time, walking. And I did that till 4:30.
What time did you start again?
About 1. I bet you I moved, many multiple gallons, right? Because that's 5 gallons and it's 8.5 pounds per gallon. So it's like 45 pounds or 50 pounds. And I, excuse me, I probably had to at least have done a dozen, maybe 15, maybe 20 of those things. I don't know. And finally I was achy and I'm tired. I haven't slept. And so I finally said, that's it. I'm going to put the sensor back in. And instead of just checking it every 10 minutes, just go and at least lay down on the couch for a minute. And then when the sensor goes off, when the water's risen, I'll go back and do the more buckets. And 5 o'clock in the morning, the power came on. And then I said, well, what am I going to do now? I laid down for an hour, and then I had to get up and start my work day, right? I mean, I'm working from home, but I still had to get up and stuff. And so then I get all the way through the workday at like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And then I said, well, you can't take a nap now. Like, I'm exhausted.
The
But
plants
I
will
said,
die.
plants will die. You can't take a nap now, because if you do, you won't get to bed. Like, so I just stayed up till like 10:30, and then, boy, I don't know how we did like the partying till 3 a.m, and then you get up 3 hours later with all that booze in you. But this was it was brutal. But that's what you do. Homo nurship, that. That's what you do. And there's no one here. I mean, I live up on my own, which is fine, but no one to. I'll spell you for a little bit. You close your eyes for. Nope, just me. Oh my gosh. Like I had forgotten what that kind of crap. Like, how did we raise kids? Well, I know how. We were 30. That's when you have the energy. Yeah, bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket. It was awful. We take power for granted until it's off because it was off with me. Like, that's 7 hours or so. That's pretty hefty. It's not usually the power goes out a couple hours later, comes on. Now it's an inconvenience. 7 hours. I was starting to think about ice cream. I was starting to go.
Everything about that story sucks.
I just thought I'd share it.
Not since the John Ryder story have I been so depressed about the details of it.
Well, no, it kind of has a happy ending. I
kind of had a happy ending, sorta.
Cheese preenies.
It kind of had a happy ending. A kind of happy ending.
Yeah, sorta.
Record deal in his shaft.
Warm. I wanted to in the app. That's stupid.
What?
It's like a violin, but it's big. It's a hell of a lot bigger. Violins.
I can say wimpy, whammy, wombly. I like that.
Yeah. Someone at work knew about it. I think it was Randy Cook. I said a line from that. You kiss your mother with that mouth. You eat garbage mouth.
Cheese preenies.
And we were and he's laughing along with me, and no one else knew what we were talking about. That album came out like in 74 or 73.
Oh,
so it is an old. For those of you at home who are still following this ridiculous exercise that Bob and I do every Saturday called The Lounge Show, that is from an album called That's Not Funny, That's Sick. The National Lampoon people put that together, and there were a lot of soon-to-be at that time talented and very famous people on it. Richard Belzer, Bill Murray, Brian Doyle Murray. It was packed with talent.
Christopher
Guest. Yes. There was a lot of good stuff. And for the most part, there's a couple of iffy bits. But
yeah,
really,
there's a couple that just like, what? Why? Yeah, why? They just, it's such a perfect flow. And then the parrot thing, and then this,
pretty baby, or whatever. Yeah, that one's kind of stupid.
And then it goes into that. Wow.
But for the most part,
oh man,
all
gold.
Yes, well written, well performed, audio humor. It was designed to be listened to, not viewed. It was a record.
And it's really difficult to quote more than about 5 seconds of this in any sort of.
Well, yeah, there's a context. And the other thing is, it's pretty. Some of it's pretty blue, but it's funny blue.
It is, but it's pretty pure that.
Yeah. It's so anyway, that's what we were just talking about. Oh, by the way, speaking of Latbat and you, and again, happy birthday to Latbat. So remember when you guys were here? I forget when. I think it was the last time you visited, and we took the walk at night through the park. The three of us.
Yeah. Yes.
And
the pictures back.
Yeah. So I remember we were walking at night, and then we went back the next day and showed Latbat the view in the daytime. But anyway, when we were walking around the park, there was some plant that gave off this wonderful fragrance.
Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember.
The
going
other
back
day,
and smelling it lots of times or something. Yeah.
Yes, it's back. So it apparently has to be a fall thing, because I took a walk the other day and it stopped in my tracks, and I just went. Bob and I and Tracy were just going,
there.
"Oh, what is that? What is that? What is that?"
I remember now. Yeah, there's pictures and video of us.
Yeah, you were over there, and we were trying to take a picture of it and going, "Look, my phone will do this, and it'll tell us what this plant name is." You were doing that bit.
That sounds like something I would do.
It'll look it right up. It looks it up. You just push this button, and it'll look it up, and then we got the Latin name for the plant or whatever. And then is this it though? Does this look like what it is? But man, it smelled great. It gave off this wonderful fragrance. I wish I were a candle, for example, that had that fragrance. I would buy that candle for my house. That it's just this. And I thought of you and Tracy. I go, oh, this is so cool. So apparently it's a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
Because I walk through that park all the time.
The other thing that I wanted to bring up from the beginning was, and I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, but we got that Michael Caine opening, and I'm sure you saw that he announced that he is. Hey, come over here, Lad Bat.
Keep going.
Come here. Look how cute she is. No, we're not. I just started another stream. No, we're not. I started another stream immediately. I scheduled it and everything. You could have been watching this whole time. It's been gold too, right? Like laugh a minute.
Some of our best stuff ever.
Some of our best stuff that could ever be.
Right. Because we know that.
But fortunately, it's recorded and there's replays.
That's true.
I won't miss it.
It's
Hi,
not the same
honey.
I don't know if she can hear you.
No,
Happy birthday. Oh, she can't hear me?
No. Nah.
Happy birthday, darling. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Now you can drink legally. You can actually go legally into a bar and instead of using that fake ID all the time.
Can
you what?
Legally go into a bar. And
sure, knock yourself out. What do you, but I'm so happy for you. And seriously,
you made it. You lived. Congratulations.
I lived. I know. It's so exciting.
Yeah, just touch and go there.
I made it to half a century without, dying.
Not without doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It is true. If you break it down, that's what we're congratulating people for. Congratulations.
Right, for staying alive.
It's just like when you go into the boss and you say, I've been here 10 years. I deserve a raise just for the 10 years. And then that's like saying, I want a raise because I didn't get fired. You have to get a raise because you went above and beyond what your normal pay was, what you originally negotiated the job to be. But yeah, it's been 10 years.
Oh, God, I remember negotiating raises a little bit.
Yeah.
It was never really hardcore. The last time I had to pay raise, that would have been 2000.
You're right.
Maybe, because wait, when did I? Yeah. Somewhere, 2001 or something. It would have been like 2000. This is so unimportant to everyone.
And he doesn't like musicals.
Nobody likes
2001.
Yes. I haven't had a real paycheck since 97, so I get it.
97?
Unemployable, yeah.
Wow. Then if you're 21 today, you were like 11 or something.
That's the math.
That's
so my very first job, this is not interesting, but along the same time. So the first job I ever in my whole life, I was going to hoe corn at Speckman's Seed Farm with Oak and Peter. We were like 12, and I lasted 3 hours. The very first job I ever had in my life, I managed to go from 9 to noon, and they fired me because I was ruining their crop. Apparently, I don't have a future in agriculture.
You are no corn hoer.
I was not a corn hoeing person. Yes. No hoeing for me. No hoes.
That is probably okay.
So bad.
I think that's probably okay.
I think it's okay to not be a corn hoer.
Yeah. Oh, well, no.
Hoer.
Isn't that? That's a corn hoe.
I don't know. Beavis and Butthead just popped into my head.
I have to go back. We used to have drops of Beavis and Butthead back when we were the highest tech of all, back in the 1994 days, and I had all the virtual card machines. And those, my God, those cassettes.
I graduated high school in 91, so I was out.
Wow. Not high school in 91?
Uh-huh.
I feel really effing old.
So wait, how old then would you have been? So it was in 94, you would have been 21.
When? In 81?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I was halfway through college. I was halfway through college.
You in 94.
Oh, I would have been 21.
Yeah. So we're celebrating. We're doing the lounge when she turns 21. I don't know. Yeah. I like something about that. I don't know. That was our one and only live performance in front of an audience that I know somewhere we have. Jam. I know.
Bob just says jam MFer, man, at the top of his lungs into the mic, just burying the needles. It was wonderful.
A whole bunch of people. I mean, that's drunk Bob. I mean, but back then, That was a very specific time. Back in Stone Mountain was when I was a stupid, like, that's when I did all my mistakes. And after that, I was covert drunk, as much as I could be.
Yeah, you were a good covert drunk, and except the one time, which was still covert, when you fell asleep in the closet in my office at the Faberwood house.
Right. That was my thing. Instead of causing trouble or being a nuisance or whatever, I would always just excuse myself, or sometimes just disappear. And so famously, the car one night, I went back out to my car with my dog.
Yeah, you were with your dog, and that was another one of those. I'm going to go to the bathroom, and then Bob's just gone. You know,
I took the dog to the car and fell asleep there.
And
I think one time
it was raining, and you had the windows.
It was so relaxing, I'm sure. And I think one time in your closet, in your office closet,
in the office downstairs. You, where's Bob? Where's Bob? Where's Bob? Oh, never mind. Found him. He's in the closet.
Not hurting anybody.
Not hurting a soul. Not embarrassing.
Not creating embarrassing memories, except for the one that we're talking about right now.
He's not embarrassing himself or his kin. He has not blasphemed the Doyle name.
I'd much rather the stories of that night be how I was just harmless and not like anything else.
Right. And I wish I could also tell those stories. As we know, my drunk stories, and there are many of them, are not nearly as nice and funny as yours. They're embarrassing, and I would really get stupid, like pulling on branches of trees. And the one at Jennifer Lane was probably one. I literally, my head exploded. I was so drunk that I had an episode. That
was by far the most historic meltdown in my memory. Yeah, especially given everything that went into that particular evening. And I know that it never got like that again. Like that was like a wake up. Well, I guess for probably a lot of people, but that was like, okay, well, that's not going to happen anymore.
Right.
So,
I think Samantha was born and Stephen was on the way. Is what I there was all of that. We're having another child, and this one is 3 months old, 4 months old, and there's another one, that's been ordered. It's it's not on back order.
Amazon it is 7 stops away.
They've already charged my card. It is coming. Okay, I'm going to just track it now.
That's right.
It
got it on price line, so there's no refund.
Right. People who bought this also bought, and I'm going, I don't want any more of that. So yeah, there was that, and then Kim and Sammy were out of town. They went somewhere because it was a bachelor thing, and yeah, I completely, Tracy, lost it. I mean, meltdown is a perfect word. It was a meltdown. It was like a psychotic break that was fueled by alcohol.
Yeah. And a lot of it was recorded in the background because the whole nature of our evening was recording them singing.
Oh.
Right. Oh, no, we had all this equipment, and
it was
Bob
it was such an ordeal. It was such a production. It wasn't like we were just hanging out and this spontaneously happened. It was like a whole, people scheduled this,
They were great. And there was tape on the floor where Bob had the microphone set because we did audio checks. Who was singing a little louder? Who was singing?
We spent so much time.
And Charles came, right? Charles went across town, and he's a little older than the rest of us. And he showed up. The quartet's going to sing. We're going to do the whole thing. And Rob Scott, his brain exploded.
It all started really fun. I mean, it started fun. And then mistakes would get more irritating. And anyway, I can't end the show like I normally do, like this, because
it's not a good
well, first of all, and it's her birthday. We ought to say happy birthday,
which is wonderful. What a great reason to be celebratory is your birthday. Seriously, man, I'm really jazzed that you did not die.
Thank you.
We all woke up very relieved. Now, of course, I guess we shouldn't count our chickens before we hatch because it is tomorrow.
Well, that's true. It's a few more hours to go. So Vegas is, and you live in Vegas, so there's a line on this, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's a very positive line. The betting line is good that you make it to tomorrow, Tracy. I have faith.
She's going to do it. There's cake to be had. It's going to happen.
And I heard Bob said you are having like 30 guests. So how good for you? A lot of people coming to say we love the fact that you did not die. That is really awesome.
It's great. I'm very
excited. happy, man. I'm not kidding.
Thank you. And I wish we lived closer so you could be here too, but.
Well, we do it this way, right? We do the George Jetson thing where we can do this now.
Which I love so much.
It is nice. It's seriously because I think I haven't seen so-and-so in years, but Bob and Tracy, I see them all the time.
It is pretty cool.
And if I forget who they are, Bob puts our names at the bottom. So that's always helpful for me, too, so I know who I'm talking to.
Just in case.
And with those words, those were the words they chose. I kid you not. Those were the words. So when those words came out, they decided that's when they were going to end the show. They could have done, I don't know, countless other things, but they chose that sequence of words to end it. And this is how we're left with the show. I don't get it. I don't think I can watch anymore.
You've been watching The Lounge Show with Rob Scott and Bob Doyle. Join us every Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and tell your friends and family to do the same. After all, we'd do it for you if you had a show. Probably.
It wasn't on.
Nah.
I think they just had "Yay, Rob Scott" right there.
Yeah.
I heard that, too.
That's weird. How come we have never noticed that before?
I love it.
This is a very enthusiastic. I think they're excited for your birthday.
Oh,
That's
that's
a
so
birthday,
sweet.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. We normally don't get a turnout like this for just